I just felt like a waste of space, basically. And that's a hard thing for me to admit. I try so hard to be strong for everyone, and this is something I never thought that would happen to me.
This ain't about me, it's all in my head.
Today's video is going to be very personal. It's not going to be about veganism. I'll explain more at the end of this video, but I am talking about my addiction, which is actually to technology. I don't even know if there's a term for it, there probably is. And my depression, which I didn't even realize I was depressed for the last few months. My technology addiction has affected every area of my life. Felt like a former shell of myself. Like I felt hollow, I felt broken, I felt empty. And that's something I really hope no one ever experiences, but I know probably millions of people do at some point in their life. So I haven't been to a doctor or a psychologist or a therapist or anything like that. So I pretty much self-diagnosed. The best way I can think to talk about this is in the form of a story. So let's go back to the beginning. I used to work at a bank. I was a receptionist for a while, and then I was an assistant for processing commercial and construction loans. I quit my job after about 4 years, and the reason why was because I was unhappy, which I know most people are unhappy with their jobs. I was definitely the very typical overworked, underpaid. I was having to come in early, like my normal time was 8 to 5. Sometimes I would come in an hour earlier, and I would leave an hour or so later. And I was not forced, but I was very encouraged to work through all my lunches. And my lunch was very important to me because I was very, very into indoor cycling. Some people call it spin classes, which I had started. And it was my only mental break and physical break throughout the day, and it made me feel so good. Like, I love working out. And not only that, I know a lot of people may be like, oh, whatever, I have to work 60 plus hours a week, that's typical. But it wasn't for me. It really was hard for me. I really believe in a work-life balance. I believe it's very important to have an outside life, to have other activities, hobbies, to exercise, to be with your family and friends. I don't want to look back and think that all I did was work. And plus it gets to a point where I feel like I can't even be productive anymore because I'm just sitting and staring at my computer screen for 10 hours a day straight, no breaks. It's ridiculous. And on top of that, if that wasn't enough, we were also told if we can't get the work done throughout the week, we also had to come in weekends. So I was coming in Saturdays and Sundays. So I'm working like 7 to 6, no lunch, Saturdays and Sundays. So 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. average and no lunch break. And this was all for like $15 an hour. And where I lived in Santa Fe, New Mexico, it's expensive. That is not enough to live on. I mean, I don't even think that's enough to like pay rent at most places there. And luckily I was already living with my now husband, boyfriend at the time. We were living together, and he was we were paying the rent together for a while. So eventually there was a lot of talk of me moving up to a slightly higher position that may have paid like $1 more or something like that. And we had to do our annual reviews, and one of the questions was, where do you want to be in the company in a few years, or what do you want to do in a few years, or something like that. And I thought about it and I was like, I don't want to be here. Don't get me wrong, there were a lot of good aspects to the job. Like, I love the people I worked with. They were so funny. Like, we had a really good time. They were very caring, they were pretty easy to talk to and very easy to get along with, and I have a lot of good memories with them. So I don't want to say it was all bad, but it wasn't the work-lifestyle balance that I was looking for. The only other positions within that department was basically to become a loan officer. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be a loan officer. I really didn't have a passion or care about finances. And I was fortunate enough that Chris, my husband now, was making enough money that I could quit and look for something else. I'd already gotten my degree in business and sustainable enterprise management, So I wanted to look for a job in sustainability. So in the meantime, while I was unemployed, my biggest passion at the moment was indoor cycling, spin classes, like I mentioned earlier. I love the studio that I was attending, and I love the instructors, and I would hang out with them a lot of times outside of class. And I got to know them, and I got to ask them questions, and so I had a couple people help mentor me to become an instructor. So I had done practice classes, I had worked on making playlists, and that took a lot of my time. That kept me busy. So I was training and training, and then eventually I auditioned and I got a job. So I was teaching classes at least 3 times a week regularly, and I was subbing for a lot of other instructors. Since I didn't have a job, I had a lot of time, and I was probably one of the most go-to people for subbing. And then Chris and I had decided we really wanted to move out of New Mexico. We wanted to live somewhere else, have a change. And he had applied to a bunch of different places around the country, and we ended up in Oregon. And Oregon is awesome. I actually do love Oregon. I love it here. But I had started to get very depressed. And I thought it was for a lot of different things. Big change, big move. I didn't have really any family in New Mexico, but I have a person that's close to me that's been basically like my second mom, and she gave me away at my wedding. She lives in New Mexico, but we still keep in contact. We call and email. So I didn't really have any other family. I had friends, but I didn't have like very deep friendships. It was more just like occasionally socializing, hanging out with people, going to parties, going for a drink, that sort of thing. I had 2 close friends, 2 best friends, I would say. One that I didn't know for very long, just like a few months, and we got very, very close. And we had a big falling out, and we ended up drifting apart and not hanging out anymore, which still makes me kind of sad to this day, because I still miss her. I think about her almost every day. And the other person I was friends with for over a decade, my longest friendship, and it was a very toxic friendship. It was making me very unhappy. So as soon as I moved, I wanted a clean start, and I cut that relationship off. So here I am in a new city, feeling isolated, feeling alone, feeling lonely. And I don't have a job, which is one of the things that keeps us most busy. It can be a very big distraction from other things in our life. And I just started to feel like I didn't have a sense of purpose, that I wasn't part of a community anymore. I just felt like a waste of space, basically. And that's a hard thing for me to admit. I try so hard to be strong for everyone, and this is something I never thought that would happen to me. I always thought of addiction as just drugs and alcohol, and I know I didn't have a problem with those. I drink occasionally, like I drink maybe, I may have like a couple drinks max on the weekend, so like 2 alcoholic drinks a week. When I go on vacation, I have a little bit more. I don't smoke. I used to smoke occasionally, socially, mostly when I was drinking, and I quit, especially because I found out it wasn't vegan. And I don't really shop. Like, I don't have a shopping addiction. I only buy when necessary, and I really don't like shopping, honestly. I find it more of a chore than fun. And in New Mexico, there's a lot of casinos, so it's very easy to gamble. I tried gambling like on the dollar slots or the penny slots, didn't get into it, didn't have a problem with gambling. So I never thought I had an addiction. And a few days ago, I had an epiphany. My phone broke. Like, I've had my phone for like 5 years, and it wouldn't charge anymore. So it was finally broken. I have Republic Wireless, which is not a very main popular carrier, so I can't just like go into a store and buy another phone. I had to order it online, and I had to wait about a week, and I actually just got it yesterday. And that week without my phone gave me an epiphany, because I did not realize how much I was on my phone. I didn't think I had a problem because I could have, anytime I would hang out with people, I wouldn't use my phone. I would check it maybe to look at the time if I had to go somewhere, but I'd never use my phone. I didn't text people. I wasn't on my phone at all, unless maybe I was going to show someone a video, then, you know, that sort of thing. So I was very present with people, friends and family, anytime I was talking to someone or socializing. I wasn't one of those people who would have to be on their phone just walking to their car, or if I'm walking my dogs being on my phone, or if I'm sitting outside. Like, I wasn't always on my phone outdoors or when I was around other people, but inside the house I was always on some kind of technology. It wasn't just my phone. Like, I would check my phone for, you know, social media stuff. If I wasn't on my phone, then I was on my computer doing basically the same thing. If I wasn't on my computer, I was watching TV. And if I wasn't watching TV, or I was doing a combination of 2 or 3 of those things. So I'd be watching TV, I would be on my phone, and I would have my laptop open. And I didn't think it was a problem, because everyone I know basically always is on their phone or something. They're always doing something with technology. Most people work on a computer all day long, so I just didn't think anything of it. I would also always have my phone just to use the bathroom. Like, I know it sounds gross, but if I just had to pee, I would be on my phone. If I was brushing my teeth, I'd be on my phone. If I was doing my hair, doing my makeup, I was on my phone. Like, I was always watching videos, YouTube videos. I'm not saying that you can't watch YouTube videos or anything. I was watching Netflix, I was watching something. I started to feel more alone than ever. And it's actually kind of funny because on the news, which I don't choose to watch the news. I think it's very depressing. I mean, it's good to be informed. My husband loves the news, so he tells me what's going on in the world. But he was watching it, and I had caught the news on 2 different days, 2 segments, and it happened to be a segment that was about addiction to cell phones, but it was about teenagers. You know, there's always older adults, we're always like, oh, kids these days, they're always on their phone. So I was like, oh, that doesn't apply to me. I'm an adult, I don't have a problem. Like, I was very in denial. I didn't understand how far this addiction had gone because I had never had an addiction before in my life, so I didn't know what it was like. I didn't understand how people became addicted to alcohol or drugs, because when I was sad or depressed, I wouldn't go to those things for comfort. That was kind of like the last thing I wanted to do. They made me feel worse than how I was already feeling. And I never wanted to try drugs because I knew if I started, there was a possibility I could be addicted. So I'm like, well, the best way to break an addiction is to never start, right? But not having my phone made me realize how much I checked my Instagram, how much I used to check my Facebook, how much I check my YouTube to see how many subscribers I have, how many views I have, my Instagram for how many likes I have, how many followers. And I started to realize that stuff doesn't matter. I have been using technology as a distraction to not look into myself and to figure out who I am, what I want to do, whether it's today or with the rest of my life. I've been avoiding it. And I didn't realize I was avoiding it until I didn't have it. And I started crying, just bawling tears one day. I was laying on the bed, I was looking at the ceiling, and I had this thought that life is a box, or my life had become a box, because my apartment is just 4 walls, it's a box. It's basically can become a prison if you don't leave. And I would still do normal things, like I went to the grocery store, I would walk my dogs, I would go hiking sometimes, but I wasn't enjoying it. I wasn't enjoying it at all because I was bored, or I thought I was bored, and I just wanted to be distracted by TV or something, or my phone, or some kind of technology. Like, I was having like withdrawals. I just didn't enjoy anything in life anymore. I would do enough to get by. I would pretend enough like I was happy that I kind of fooled myself into thinking I was happy. I was laying in bed, I was thinking, if I died tomorrow and I look back on my life for the last year, few months, would I like what I saw? And I pictured myself, I saw myself. I was just sitting in a box, watching TV, which is another box, on my computer, which is a slightly smaller box, on my phone, which is an even smaller box. So my life was sitting there, watching a box of fake projections of people living life, instead of me trying to go out and create a life on my own. I don't have friends because I haven't even tried to go out and meet people. And there are so many activities and meetups going on. It's crazy. Like, so many things I'm actually interested in that I haven't gone because of my anxiety and my depression and my addiction that doesn't let me leave the house. And that is so terrifying for me to admit. Like, I can't believe I didn't understand or even realize this was going on. It has affected every area of my life. affected my personal relationship. It's affected how I take care of myself. It dictates what I get done, which in the last few months it feels like not much of anything. It even affects me making videos, because as much as I love veganism, it's a huge part of my life, it's a huge passion, I haven't been motivated to make videos because I feel depressed, and it was hard for me to advocate for animals because like I was having so many of my own personal issues, and I feel like I can't help animals if I can't help myself, you know, like I have to take care of myself first. I do believe in filling your own cup first before you can help fill others. You really have to take care of yourself, and I wasn't doing that. I have plans in motion. I have ideas of what I'm going to do. I'm already starting to do them. I have a lot of videos I want to make on various topics. This is the first one, being addiction and depression. But I also have other videos I want to make about self-love and loneliness and fear and other things that I have experienced that I think I could talk about that might help other people as well. So in 2018, my channel is going to be changing slightly. It's going to be shifting. It's going to still be a lot about veganism. I still have a lot of ideas for videos I want to make on that. I still want to help educate people, inspire people, motivate people to either go vegan or to continue being vegan, especially if they're transitioning. But at the same time, I have a lot of other ideas I want to do for personal videos. So think of this as you're going to get to actually know me, know the real me. For the longest time, I didn't want to talk about myself or talk about really anything personal to do with me because I didn't think I was interesting enough, because I wasn't doing a whole lot. But I realized it's not about specifically about what I'm doing. Like I don't have to be traveling or like doing something super exciting. Like I am more than just what I do. There's more to me than just that. So don't worry if you subscribe to my channel because you want to learn about veganism. Don't worry, there will be more videos. I don't know how many videos I'm going to do a week. I don't know how I'm going to balance between the vegan videos and the personal videos about life. I will figure it out. But like I said, you guys are going to get to know me, the real me. I'm not holding back anymore. I don't want to feel embarrassed. I don't want to feel ashamed about admitting these things, because we're human. These things happen in life. People get depressed, people get addicted. It's good to talk about this in the open. It's good to recognize that you need help, to seek help, and to get help once you realize that something's wrong. So I'm not saying that all technology is bad. It definitely is convenient. It helps to make processes more efficient sometimes. It does help to talk to people like your friends or family who are not close by. You can email them, you can Skype them, you can text them, you can call them. It's great. It's a great thing. But any good thing can be a bad thing if it controls your life and becomes a bad habit, an addiction. And it's only been a few days since I've realized this, and I'm working through a lot, and I will give you guys updates in the future as to what's going on. And I know I said earlier that numbers and followers don't matter, and what I meant by that was just that I shouldn't let outside validation dictate what makes me feel happy, or what I now know was a false sense of happiness. And I'm still happy, of course, to have you all. I'm very grateful for all 35 of my subscribers, and I just reached the 1,000 views milestone, which to some people may seem like not much, but to me it's a lot, and I was very excited. And I have 2 buddies, so it gives you little mile markers and little plaques to like help keep you going and track your progress. So thank you all so much for supporting me and for following me, and hopefully continue to follow me through my personal growth journey as well as my vegan journey.